Right, we're talking platinum stocks here on Hot Stocks today, and next on our list for consideration is Lonmin. So remember, Lonmin, of course, came out of old Tiny Roland's global group. All sorts of things were going on there. It got winnowed away, and what we got left with was Lonmin, the platinum company. So it has its roots from a shareholder perspective in London, but the mining operations are centered on the Marikana area. And it was there nearly, 18 months or 2 years ago where the Marikana disaster massacre happened. Most regrettable circumstances. Since then, the company has picked itself up. It's raised some money after some pretty dire moments. It has a market cap of 9.1 billion rand. Not currently profitable, so no price to earnings ratio, and definitely not paying dividends. So the CEO, the new CEO, Ben Magara, trying to stabilize things. Quite a testy environment for the relationship between them and Labour, as one would imagine, and very limited flexibility in terms of assets, right?
Well, look, the problem with Lonra is they've got the worst balance, Lonmin, the worst balance sheet of all of them. They just did the massive rights issue, and then this week, the share price has recovered a bit now, but it fell 20% in 2 days on the stories going around, that they were unbundled from Glencore, not shares, but stories going around, they need another rights issue.
The story there was Xstrata had the shares, then they went into Glencore. Glencore had 21%, they just unbundled them.
Gave it to you, and there was overhang. And it looks as though, and I think it's valid. I think they're going to have to do another rights issue. I mean, they just have got no balance sheet strength. They're bleeding cash. Look,
and they've got debt, and then the bankers say, listen, you must raise more capital, and that's where they had to do that already.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember, this was actually a wonderful asset when it was still East Platts and West Platts, and still owned by, as you said, by Tiny Roland in Longra. I actually met Tiny, and he wasn't tiny. He was a huge man. But once again, fallen on incredibly hard times, and clearly this is the one in the spotlight with Labour.
And as far as the Labour situation is concerned, I don't know, I'm not even following it that closely anymore, but basically it appears that what the unionised workforce here wants to do is to be paid 12,500 rands a month. And they've sort of reconciled themselves to the fact that means there's going to be a fraction of the number of people working there that were there before.
Look, I think everyone's learned from the massacre, and I think everyone's a bit more cautious nowadays. I actually think that was a watershed event in South Africa in our labour relations. So, surprisingly enough, despite what you read in the newspapers and hear on radio and TV and that, the labour relations aren't quite as bad as what they were a couple of years ago. Because, as I said, everyone's learned a lesson.
But the number of people employed
it's down massively
by a factor of 8.
Oh yeah, look,
10.
I would think compared to 2008, there's probably 200,000 less jobs in the platinum sector. Not massive big events, but just no new hiring and just natural attrition and just closing down. And I mean, it's terrible. And of course, the government's concerned about this, but they created far more jobs than that during the glory years.
And we know that the nature of our economy is shifting, and there are more jobs in the services industry and so on and so forth. Okay, look, so with the rights offer pending, clearly one's got to be scared of this one. It hasn't done well, might be close to the bottom, but not hot for us.